Thank you very much, Dr. Agnihotri. If you're okay, I will go next.
Sure.
Okay. I come from marine background. I was mentioning I was a captain of a ship. I intuitively understand waves, rivers, currents, all of that. So all my whatever we do is somewhere centered around that, and I will show you how we have developed some river cleanup technology. Okay. As we go along, let me start with the journey of a fugitive plastic. Plastic that goes out of the formal system, it is dropped in front of a shop somewhere. The first big rain will take it towards the nearest drain, maybe a bigger drain. It goes to a stormwater drain, tributary perhaps, and then later on to a river. All this is a single dimensional journey of the plastic. After it reaches the river mouth and it crosses the river mouth, it spreads into a two-dimensional spread on the surface of the sea. It becomes a little complicated now to collect it from a two-dimensional spread. Then after some time it breaks up into microplastics, few years, and it goes into the water column. With today's technology, it's practically impossible to collect it once it goes down into the water column. So we thought the most sensible way of handling this is to catch it in the unidimensional journey and also to intercept it when it is in a river where all the drains have accumulated, all the streams have accumulated, and it is going, it's aggregated on a river. That's the best place to collect it. So we developed a solution for that. Yeah, next slide. Now, cleaning rivers, city rivers especially, is not easy at all. You have shallow depths, you have dry season, very narrow flows, you have monsoon flows which are very wide, you have flood flows, all of that. So when you stand on the river bank, you have a 100-meter wide river, none of your earth moving gear, your JCBs and hydras, and none of them can actually reach 50 meter inside. So you're standing on the river bank and you have a wide river, and you can't send people down there because there could be anything underwater. You can't get a floating crane there. So this is what the ecosystem throws at you. You can't complain, you have to adapt for it. Every day we have adapted better and better. And today we have our solution in 9 cities across the country. The first one in North India in Gorakhpur, otherwise most of them is in South. Yeah. Can we go to the next one? The technology that we developed came to us intuitively. We designed and deployed that in a river in Chennai. And in the first year, as per the Hindu newspaper who took the data from the corporation, 22,000 tons of trash was stopped. Out of that, 10% was plastics. 2,200 tons of plastics was stopped. This was removed from the river. Now we don't get involved in removal from the river and disposal. Disposal is a big science, like experts like you know about the disposal part of it. So we said we are good at intercepting it in the river and removing it cost efficiently. Logically, we said the river has so much of energy. There is no reason why we should be putting one drop of fuel to do anything in the river. We want the river currents to bring it up to the river bank. So very simple common sense technology. We put it diagonally across. So whatever hits that barrier, it slides down into the downstream end of it and very easily accessible from the river bank. The moment you can access it from the river bank, it becomes low cost. You're not sending boats inside, nothing of that sort. We saw people sending boats inside with conveyors in other places, lifting up whatever is in the water, bringing it to the river bank, emptying it again. We thought that's a waste of money, it doesn't make environmental sense either, because in water you wait for the flowing water to bring it exactly where you want to collect it, it will come. The river will bring it and give it to you where you want to collect it. And normally you select a location like that, which has road connectivity, so that you can go with the JCBs and pick up truckloads of that and take it away. Next one. This is how broadly it works. These are all Google images. Whatever we have deployed is visible on Google Earth. The water flows from the top left to the right. And when it hits that, it all comes to this corner. And the JCBs will just stand, it is practically in front of his feet. He will just scoop it up, turn around, put it on the tipper trucks, and the tipper trucks take it away. That's how 22,000 tons was removed. It had a lot of organics, only 10% was plastics. Now, we did not put any boat in the stream. The very famous company, Ocean Cleanup, they had an interceptor boat in the middle of the stream, which would pick up the solid waste and send it to the river bank. We said nothing of that sort. You don't need a boat because the same river current is bringing it right up to the river bank. So you don't need to pick it up in the middle and again send it to the river bank. So we could cut down a per location cost. What normally that model costs $1 million location, it comes down to somewhere around $30,000 here. You can do that, and it does it as efficiently. Of course, they have also changed now. They have done away with the latest one. They have done away with the interceptor boat, and they also brought the cost down. Yeah. Next. Okay, drag force is a very important factor in designing these barriers. Both these products on the left and the right, both are designed by us, but for very different applications. On the left side is this floating barrier that stops all the trash and plastics. Very importantly, it allows the water to flow past. And because the water flows past, you have the drag force is reduced tremendously. That's why it's able to withstand a little higher flows. It's very intuitively understandable. You can understand what exactly I'm saying. On the right side is made for oil spill. So you need to have a solid fabric. You can't have a mesh in the water to stop the oil. So you have a fabric there. And this is also made by us. Incidentally, it's the latest generation of oil spill boom. 250 meters of that gets deployed in 20 minutes from one end. Now, this is good for oil spill, but it has a handicap that you cannot move it through the water at any speed. Why? Because the fabric which is hanging, it cannot push water. Or you stop it, keep it in a place in the river, and the river water is flowing. Hanging fabric cannot stop the flow of water. It is going to give way, it is going to lift up, and the water has to flow past. And along with the water, whatever is trapped will go past. That's why the same ocean cleanup, the first model, I remember I saw them putting a solid fabric. We did suggest to them, but they came back with the comment that we are able to collect it, but we are not able to retain it because it escapes. So from the next model, they changed over to a mesh model which reduced drag force. Water goes past and only the trash stops there. Next one, please. So because we had low drag force and a very high tensile strength, our approach has been steel chains, mesh and those kind of things. Almost 30 tons is the tensile force of something like this. So it handles currents, the hydrodynamics. It may look simple, but the hydrostatics and hydrodynamics of this is very well thought out. Why? Because our original purpose when we conceived this idea, we do it in brainstorming. We don't do too many of the prototypes because a lot of these things intuitively you know the answers. In our mind we said we have to have a standing mesh and rest will happen. Water will flow past, all this stuff will stop. How to keep it standing was the designing that we did. The floats, the ballast underneath and those kind of things. And when the water flows, you have the hydrodynamics to take care of. We designed all that. So this is in various cities. A more heavy duty version of the same thing works as a boat barrier. Now you do not have perimeter security in the water. You have all kind of fences, smart fences on the land. But in the water, if you have a very nice building in front of the water, a boat can come right there. You do not have a physical fence, floating fence in the water to stop a boat. So the more heavy duty version is very interesting to some of the security people to put it up, dam reservoirs, so many places. So you stop a boat and the boat doesn't come up. People can still cross. That's different. Next. This is how it normally pans out. You see down below there is a canal, very thin canal coming and joining the big river. and you have that inside the red circle, you can see that barrier over there laid out. This is the Google Earth view. And the same barrier you can see from the ground level, day 1, day 3, day 7, day 10. That's the kind of trash that comes and accumulates. That does not go into the river, and this is very close to the river mouth, so consequently it does not go to the sea. Yeah, next one. Now, we have been adapting every day of the last so many years. Boat traffic, some places has to go past. How do you allow a boat traffic to go past? So we had a very simple solution for that. Is it is deployed in 2 halves. Of course, the chain goes past. The boat zigzags and goes past. But the trash and plastics, they'll come straight and get trapped. How it happens, you see the yellow arrows. The first one is called deflector and the second one is called a collector for obvious reasons. So as it comes, it all goes to that corner, but a boat is smart enough to zigzag past. Okay. We normally highly over specify the design criteria, though we tell people that it should only be about 5 meters, you should remove regularly, but it doesn't happen in real life for all kinds of reasons. One of the reasons can be because it's been raining, or other reasons simply people they were not very diligent, so it gets overloaded often, but it's okay. It's highly over specified strength criteria. Very interestingly, if you know Adyar, some of you may know Adyar in Chennai, Adyar River, and some of the people who are rowing in front of that, the canoes, they are friends of mine, and they told me that the picture in the middle, a lot of weed has got collected that's supposed to have been removed. It did not get removed for some time, but the water now going downstream is coming much cleaner. They start seeing fish because all this hyacinth is actually reaction to the pollution, and all the roots are absorbing the nitrates and phosphates from the water, and the water that's coming out is cleaner. The hyacinth was supposed to be removed, but they learned that if you don't do that, you're getting cleaner waters downstream because the hydroponic effect of these plants. Next one. These are the various cities where it's been done. In the lakes, we deploy this in the inlets, so the trash will not come inside. But hyacinth will still grow because the liquid effluents inside the water, the sewage, which is contaminated, that still comes in, and when that comes in, that feeds this hyacinth and this weed, and that will definitely still grow. Now in a lake, water doesn't flow. Unlike a river, in a river water flows, we say okay, no boats, stay here, let the water bring it, but in a lake water doesn't flow. So we have developed a different system called tandem sweeping system. 2 water jet propelled boats together, they pull a sweep of 10 meter wide, so that you can get the lake surface cleaned fairly fast. The next one. That is the image. So 2 boats together, they pull about 10 meter wide, a sweep, and they take it from wherever, because normally what happens in a lake is all this weed is collected in one edge of the lake, the wind takes it to one side, and it is stopped over there. None of the big boats can go there, and it remains there. So these boats are made deliberately very low draft, very low depth, water jet propelled, it doesn't have propellers, so nothing's there to get fouled with the plants, and the 2 boats together will pull this patch and take it to one part of the lake where you have this earth moving equipment, you have the JCBs and other things to remove it. Next. Okay, this is our future plans I wanted to share with you all. We are going to take up a cleanup of all the streams, all the rivers of Goa. In the next 2 years, we will ensure that there is no plastics, trash coming into the seas of Goa. So you will have less on the beach as well. It will all be contained and removed. This is first of its kind in the world because first of all it's a very ambitiously big project. It will be funded by corporates with the CSR funds. The government is helping out by taking away whatever is getting collected and disposing it through their facilities. So whatever gets collected over here, we don't get into disposal. As I said, the urban local bodies, they dovetail this collection into their normal facilities. So this will be done in about a month's time. It will be first of its kind in the world to do in such a large area. Next. Yeah, ocean cleanup. This is one of the favorite topics for everyone. The second question normally people ask me is that when are you going to go to the ocean? Now, between the ocean and the river, there's a small difference. We always say, shut the tap before you mop the floor. And the rivers are those taps. It is easier to do the rivers because you are not spending fuel on it. The river is going to bring it to where you're standing and you're removing it. But ocean is different. The water body is not really moving. There's small littoral currents here and there, but beside that, generally the water doesn't move. So you have waves, that's a different issue. So now you need to take the sieve and pull it through the water. Like the ocean cleanup does with two large sea-going tugs. They pull the sieve through the water and they collect the plastics on the surface. We intend to do this sometimes next year, hopefully. But we are working on harnessing ocean energy. Because we believe putting two large sea-going tugs burning 20 tons of furnace oil each every day is replacing one pollution with the other. So we will use wind energy, we will be using the wave energy to propel this sieve through the water. We already have designed and tested a prototype of wave energy in IIT Madras wave pool, and now we have designed a wave powered board. We have not prototyped it yet. That will run by the wave power. So we hope to next year sometime we will have the bandwidth to go out to the sea when we have done most of the rivers on the coast, probably shutting the taps before we step out to the sea. That's the gist of what I had to show you all, and thank you very much for your attention. Can I request Conrad, please?